Happy Sunday, everyone. So excited to have this gorgeous girl here with me. It was about this time last year, well, gorgeous even with nothing on her face, but it was about this time last year that we were doing your bridal makeup trial. Yeah. So we've been meaning to get together to actually do a step-by-step on how I created the look, so stay tuned. Yay. So I'm just going to start off by cleansing Chloe's skin. This is a Rodeo Dragon's Blood cleanser, which I love. It's kind of like a micellar water, so really multi-purpose and easy to use. I'm going to moisturise now using this gorgeous Dr. Hauschka Rose Day Cream. Chuck that on the side, and then I'm just going to rub that between my hands and press this onto the skin. This is super hydrating, this moisturiser. So it really helps to give us a nice glowy base. So the benefit of using a moisturiser that's this texture is you can really spend a little bit of time actually moisturising and massaging that product into the skin. So I'm just going to give quite kind of a firm massage all over Chloe's face, and that's just going to bring the blood to the surface of the skin. Also, put a little bit of love in. So I'm just popping a little bit of this Sensei lip treatment on the lips. This is one of my favourite ever lip treatments. It's so hydrating. So I'm just going to let that soak in whilst we do the rest of the makeup. Now I'm going to prime the skin, and I'm using the Becca Brighten and Blur Primer. This helps to take away a little bit of the excess shine from the moisturiser, but you still get that really kind of plumped and hydrated finish. So this is just going to help keep our foundation and everything that we apply on the skin on for longer, which is especially important when it's for your big day. And next up is foundation, and I'm going to be using the Becca Skin Love. Good question what this is called. It's so old that it's kind of worn off, and I've used this one to death, which is a surefire sign that I love a product. So just put this in the palm of my hand, and then I'm just applying it with a foundation brush. It's got really good staying power, this, and kind of quite a natural texture, so that you can build it up to have sort of a medium to full coverage, or you can buff it into the skin for a more sheer finish. So I'm just going to move on to eyes now, and we're going to finish the skin after we've done the eyes. So I'm just applying a base now, and this is a MAC paint in the shade Groundwork, which is really kind of versatile, easy to use. You can use it as a base, or you can use it as a shadow if you just wanted something simple to wear on its own. But I always think this is a great one for brides because it's kind of really wearable and also keeps things on. So next up, I'm going to use my favourite kohl of all time. This is a MAC pencil in the shade Costa Riche, and I'm going to pop tons of this on the eyes because I want our base for the look to be this warm, beautiful brown. So this is going all over the socket, all along the lash line. Also going to take this under the eye, if you look up for me. And then I'm going to use that brush that we applied the paint with just to blend and soften this afterwards. So before I do the other eye, I'm just going to blend that out because I want to make sure that that pencil stays really creamy so that we get this flawless blend. And actually, we were just talking about when we did Chloe's bridal makeup, how chilled she was. There was like no nerves, not any visible anyway. What's the secret?
Well, I just felt like I was on a shoot because I'm so used to you do my makeup and I knew the photographer. So I was just pretending I was at work.
Surrounded by people that make you feel comfortable. Yeah. It helps, doesn't it?
Definitely.
So liner is on, and you can see I've kind of created this soft smoky eye only by using that base and then a pencil. So now that that's on and it's blended, I'm going to pop a little bit of eyeshadow on top, and what this will help do is set that pencil and make sure it doesn't crease, so you get that staying power throughout the day. So I'm starting off with a dark brown shadow, and just this little brush here, and I'm just using that brush to press the product into the outer corner of the eye and also the socket here, because I want that depth and smokiness in the corners. Also going to do the same underneath the eye. Keeping those tones of brown really warm. Anything kind of orangey or reddy brown is going to be particularly flattering on light eyes like Chloe has. So now just with a fluffy brush, I'm just blending that out. And then over the top, I'm going to go with like a kind of warm peachy tone, really beautiful shadow from Anastasia Beverly Hills called Orange Soda. So this is the lighter shade now, And this is going to add a little bit of warmth and also act as that transitional colour between that dark smokiness and Chloe's skin tone. Some people do this the other way around and use their transitional colour first before they put the darker shade, and then you blend afterwards. So now just with the excess of what's on this fluffy brush, I'm just bringing that smokiness right out into the temples. I'm just going to create that kind of really sexy shape for us. You can do the same on the other side. And also, with a little bit of that dark shadow that's left on this brush, I am just going to take this in the inner corner of the eye on both sides, and that's going to add a little bit of depth in this part, which really helps to emphasize this halo effect of it being lighter in the center of the lid. So now I'm taking a little bit of a shadow called Expensive Pink, which is from MAC, which is kind of like this very soft pink with a little reflex of gold running through it. I'm just going to keep that warmth to the eyeshadow. I'm just pressing this just in the center of the lid. So now I'm just using Delilah gel liner. It's really lovely fluid texture, this gel, so I do love using this. It's got great staying power too. Just bringing that liner slightly thicker and higher on the outer part of the eye. So now that that liner's on, I'm just taking a little bit of a dark brown shadow and I'm going back over the top of where I applied the liner. I think this kind of just creates a softer, smokier effect, which is really good for a wedding day rather than having that defined liquid line. Just want to soften that look a little bit. So I'm just going to pop some lashes on now. I'm starting with short length and I'm going to put these all the way along the lash line. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap in between each lash on the outer corner of the eye, and in that little gap I'm going to put medium length, and that helps to kind of give this really feathered and supernatural effect, but also a little bit longer in the outer corners, which is really flattering to the shape of the eye. So I've popped some mascara on now. This is Clarins 4D Perfect Mascara. I love this one. I think actually having some beautifully gorgeous fluffy lashes on your wedding day is such a nice touch. Nice. So now I'm just going to use some of this Chantecaille Brightening Eye Kohl in the shade Nude, which is a really beautiful, soft, creamy, cream coloured eye kohl. And this really helps to brighten up the eye look. So now we're going to finish the skin, and I'm using this Armani Power Fabric Concealer. It's a really beautiful concealer, this one. I love the texture of this. It glides on the skin and also has great staying power. And the reason I did the foundation first, then eyes, and then moved on to concealer after eyes is because you can kind of use that concealer almost like an eraser for any little bits of eyeshadow that drop around the eye or anything that you need to clean up on the outer corners. The concealer does that. So now I'm going to use this Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Setting Powder, which is perfect for your big day. So I'm just pressing this under the eyes, and that's going to set the concealer that we've popped on earlier. A little bit around the nose too, and I'm going to put some in the center of the forehead. So all of those areas that we don't want to be too glowy. I love to use a tiny brush when I apply these products because I just think whether it's your wedding day or whether you're attending a wedding or whether you just want something that's going to stay on for work in the heat, then you want to set and have everything really last long, but you don't want to overload the skin with powder, because I think the secret to gorgeous makeup that makes you feel confident is being able to look great from a distance, but also being able to look really flawless up close and personal too. So now I'm going to use a little bit of bronzer. This is a gorgeous bronzer from Elizabeth Arden in the shade Deep. So I'm just popping this on a little angle brush. This one's from MAC. And I'm going to swipe this under the cheekbones. So I'm going to use this to add warmth to the skin, but also to sculpt. So also carrying on that warmth that we have in the eyes. So just a little bit just along the jawline here. Chloe has like the best jaw ever. Under cheekbones, and also the top of the forehead, which is just going to help tie the look in together and just really bring out that warmth in the skin. And now for blush, I'm using the Bare Minerals Gen Nude in the shade Pretty in Pink. I used this in my tutorial last week and I fell in love with this colour. So I'm dusting this really quite high at the top of the cheekbones and apples of the cheeks. And this, I find this placement just gives a really youthful looking flush. To have that kind of youthful, healthy looking flush. I'm going to spray on a light mist of the Becca Skin Love Glow Shield. you just close your eyes for me. So we're just doing a light mist of this now, and then I'm going to move on to brows and then highlight last. Put a little spritz of that mist in my soap brows, and now I'm going to do Chloe's beautiful brows. Just combing a little bit of soap through them just to keep them in place. And then I'm going to fill in the shape a little bit with Dip Brow, the new Dip Brow Gel, which is a really fab product. So this Dip Brow comes with a little spoolie like this, but instead of using that, I've put some of the product on the back of my hand, and then with a little angle brush, taking some of that product, and I'm going to use that to fill in any little gaps and reshape the brows a little. The reason why I don't use the spoolie that it comes with is because I find that it adds a little bit of fibre to the brows, so it's really good for volumizing and thickening, but I don't want to do that to Chloe's brows. I just want to perfect the shape a bit. So I'm going to highlight now. First place I'm going to highlight is this pretty part in the inner part of the eye, and I'm using Becca's Shimmering Skin Perfector powder this time in the shade Opal, which is this beautiful soft gold. So just a little touch of the inner part of the eye. It's so pretty. I'm going to do the same with the same brush on the top of Cupid's bow, and then with a larger brush highlight the other parts of the face. So this gorgeous brush is from My Kit Co. I love this one for highlighting. Don't know the exact number, but that's how it looks. So I'm just putting a little bit of that highlighter at the top of the cheekbones. To keep your powder highlight flattering, I always think you shouldn't take it too high and close to the eye. So really just try and pop that product at the top of the cheekbone and no higher. So just popping a little bit of that highlight on the nose now. I'm just putting it here and on the tip of the nose, which I think sometimes is more flattering than going down the entire length. Now moving on to lips, and Chloe and I found the perfect combo for her wedding day, which is matte liner in the shade Strip Down. So I'm just using the pencil just to go very slightly over Chloe's natural lip line to create this super sexy full pout. So almost like at the very edge of the natural lip line and maybe like half a millimetre over, and that's how you can have a naturally looking full lip. This is Kim K's KKW Beauty rather, nude in the shade 1.5, which is a really beautiful peachy creamy nude. So that's pretty much done. The only thing I'm going to do now is add a little bit more blush, because now that the look has all come together, I feel like we could do a little bit more pink on the cheeks. And actually, I feel like for a wedding, it's really nice. So now I'm going to just bring a little bit of that glow down on the shoulders, and this is Becca's Shimmering Skin Perfector liquid mixed with a really gorgeous body lotion. So that just gives it a little bit more of kind of a glossy finish. So I'd say a really nice tip when you're doing your makeup for your wedding day, or if you're attending a wedding, is give yourself a little bit of time. So do your makeup and then maybe have like half an hour to spare afterwards, just to give your skin and your face a chance to settle, and then have a look at it just before you go, and that will show you whether there's anywhere that needs touch up, or whether you need anything extra, or whether you want to make any adjustments.